Our friends, the founders of 15 Stars. It's Rick and Ricky Johnson, the father-son team that went all the way from the popcorn business up in Indiana to doing Kentucky bourbons, whiskeys, interesting blends, and they have several new bourbons we're going to talk about today. The first one being First West Frontier. Welcome back, gentlemen. How are y'all?
Doing great. Good. Yep. Good to be back with you.
So good to have you. And, I love, the blending process you have. You have such great palates. You have such great taste in what you do. And the story that you tell really goes back to the fact that you all have this popcorn business. And in some of the previous blends of 15 Stars, we had tasted some of your distillate that came from corn that you use for popcorn. But this is 100% your own now. Tell us about this.
First time for everything, isn't there? It's been a long wait.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what we learned about bourbon. I said to Ricky, I'm going to be 100 years old, before this gets really good. Now, it's not quite that bad, right? But
young.
Yeah. But what we are firm about is that time is the most important ingredient in a great bourbon.
Yes.
And so we don't mind waiting, but it has been a while. As you know, we got sourcing early on, so we could put a brand out there, and we turned that into blending, right? Because we want to put something in that bottle that's crafted to be ours, and we found this beautiful spot in blending that we didn't know existed, but it's that wonderful opportunity to craft something right before it goes in the bottle, right? We don't have to put it in a barrel and wait 10 years and find out what we got, right? But we have the ability to grab some beautiful bourbons and blend those together in a way that's better than any of them would be individually. And we're even with this bottle we're talking about here today, we put two of our products together, right, that we had distilled, and just the same thing, right? We think the blending component gives us, and Ricky leads it, so he had to really be talking about it, but it does. It's a little bit of a secret weapon that we didn't know existed, and it's been the secret sauce for us. Blending and flavor proofing are two elements. We pay attention to everything, but we think that blending and flavor proofing really separates it out. Of course, the heirloom corns totally separates us out. And we do all of that in service of searching for the very best bourbon that we can put in those bottles. And that's our number one goal. How do we put something really extraordinary, really special, and really worth somebody spending the time with it? Because when you pour up glass or you pour a bottle, you want to spend some quality time with it, right? And we want that time to be rewarded. So we're after the best.
And you're certainly getting it. By far one of my favorite bourbon brands ever. You all have done such a great job with this from every element. The story, you all are fantastic. The juice that you're making, the juice you're blending, and do you have some of the corn right there with you?
Yeah. Well, you're not going to believe how this stuff. Everybody knows this corn, right? Traditional dent corn. This is the corn that fuels the bourbon business,
right?
And it's a wonderful product, and it does wonderful things. But when we get into what we're doing with our corn, here's the difference. And yes, those aren't. I'm not holding this one way back, right? That thing is just not very big. So you got these two corns, and that little black corn is what we've kind of put in our popcorn. Really special ear, super small, as you can tell. Little ear, little kernels, and so
it makes more of that for both the popcorn and the bourbon, I would imagine.
No, when you have a bushel of it, right, or 100 pounds of it, it does the same thing pound for pound.
More ears, though.
Yeah, getting to the pound, that's a bigger job. Yeah, that's bigger. Yeah. So
you have Dent, you have the Black Jewel.
Yep.
And then you have those. What else is in here?
Well, it's these two.
Just those two. That's
Yep,
it.
just those two corns. But a little more. Ricky, you want to talk about the mash bills and blending up what we
Yeah.
did?
Yeah, so our black corn bourbon is in a bit of a unique mash bill, a wheated bourbon mash bill. For that, a 70, 18, 12. So 70% corn, 18% wheat, 12% malted barley.
Wow.
And then the yellow corn mash bill is also a 70, 18, 12, but switch that 18 from wheat to rye, just a standard rye bourbon mash bill. So technically, on the label, we called it a 4-grain. That's a bit of a mistake because we really think that, in truth, that black corn is way different than the yellow corn that is typical for bourbon. It creates a unique flavor, as unique as 1 grain to a completely separate grain. So it's really, we call it a 5-grain whiskey now with that black corn. So the black corn, yellow corn, rye, wheat, malted barley. Plenty of grain in there to create a lot of flavor and complexity.
Yeah. And those two whiskeys are very different. That's one of the things when you're blending, right? To bring some things together that are different is really important, right? If you blend two things that are pretty close to the same, you haven't done much, right? But to really find some corns, we don't try and push any of them into a corner when we're blending. We're not trying to steer them in a direction. We're not trying to make something. We're trying to let the whiskey, the bourbon, right, tell us where it wants to go, right? What's the best that it can do? So we really work through those blend percentages and then the proofs in our flavor proofing to say, what's that combination of blend and proofing that produces a really special flavor. And while this black corn, it tastes, it's clearly different, right? And the black and yellow corns are equally, they're at least as different as a rye and wheat, as a flavoring grain. So there's a lot of complexity in those 5 grains coming together, and there's a bit of
like this wonderful creaminess up underneath. There's I would say some minerality to this that really comes through. Often, like you think about minerality in a good wine, the whiskeys have minerality, and the minerality and just this really beautiful softness.
Yeah.
That I get maybe just a little touch of salt underneath. I mean, it has this really beautiful sweetness, and just diving into this, I mean, there's this great candied note. This is a beautiful, elegant sipping bourbon. What's it mean to have 100% your own corn, 100% your own distillate in this?
You know what it means to something a customer is going to care about? What it means is we could put that out at $49, right? And so a great buy, First West Explorer. But for us, right, it's a milestone, right? And I don't know if anybody else cares about that, but we do, right? It's a milestone for us to finally have, kind of 100% juice that we engineered, in that blend.
It's the Explorer. You decided on the Explorer name because?
I'll go into that a little bit. I'm dominating here, but with our brands, our 3 brands, one we're going to talk about here that's a brand new release, right? We're going to talk next, but 15 Stars, right? It's always been rich in that heritage piece. 15th state, Kentucky, kind of maturity as the state had matured along the way. 1792, a state, 1795, that second U.S. flag, 15 stars, 15 stripes. So that early American story, and that Kentucky is in there. And then First West, right? First West is another name for Kentucky. It was America's First West. It was when Americans first went through the Cumberland Gap into the West, right? The Appalachian Mountains. Britain was on the east, and when America was becoming America, that's when people were streaming through that gap and coming to Kentucky, into America's First West, what they called the Western Waters, the waters that flowed to the west from the Appalachian Mountains. So it really celebrates that moment in history that really kind of dominated American identity. American identity was built, right? The British to the east of the Appalachians, and Kentucky kind of on the west side, just as America's becoming independent. And then that move to the West Coast, that whole ethos of opportunity and hard work and potential, and the really a description of kind of the American identity. And the West started in Kentucky. People don't think of that, right? When they think West, they think, well, wait a minute, that's at least Kansas, or maybe, Colorado, or maybe, past that, but really the West began in Kentucky. So we love, so the name Explorer, right? First West Explorer. So it really anchors that whole ethos of, of the history of America, and exploring is a little bit of what we do, right? With these whiskeys, that black
explore a lot.
5-grain bourbon. I mean, that's exploring. And so we're exploring in our day, kind of like they were in theirs. Maybe we don't need the Kentucky rifle with us today, but but we need a little ammunition.
You just might. Well, you got the ammunition right here. I love what you all have done. And you all care so much about history. You all have a lot of great artifacts. What have you all always been into history, even before all this?
We got into it a little bit with Kentucky, and it's fascinating. People have lost the story of early Kentucky, and we bring it back. And in that bottle, right, that our First West that you're talking about, this is one of the base bottles, and so blue color. Little bubbles, inclusions in it, made out of recycled glass, made to resemble this bottle, right? Which was the first bottles ever produced in Kentucky and used for bourbon. And this is from the Louisville Glass Works in Louisville, Kentucky, early 1800s. First bottles ever produced there. And, these little guys are not.
I love that.
Yeah, did we skinny it up a little bit to work on the shelf? Did we make it a little more elegant? Did we put a label on it that fancies the time? The typology of it is like that. Our First West won World Whiskey Awards, won the best label of the year. So
it is great. It's
happy with that. I don't know if you can see the guys on it, but that's Daniel Boone and Troop, coming through, through the Cumberland Gap. So 1775.
What's that painting called?
It is that Daniel Boone. Better view of it. Daniel Boone coming through the Cumberland Gap, and it's there were two versions of it. A guy by the name of Ranney, William Tiley Ranney, and that actual painting is in Paris, Kentucky.
Oh, wow!
And then Bingham, another famous artist of the West, and that painting sitting in St. Louis.
I love that. I think I know I've seen that one. Actually, I remember I've been to the museum since.
Yeah,
we talked about.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, and I was there about a year ago. What a wonderful museum too, and I think that's such a massive and beautiful painting, and just everything comes together in such a way that's
and a little bit what we want people to taste a great bourbon, right, and something really special. But we also want people to taste a little bit of that American frontier when you drink our bourbons, right? Get a little taste of that spirit that's America. Bourbon is America's native spirit. Bourbon, Kentucky, and America born together at the same moment of time as people are kind of streaming to the West, where people got to be American, separate from British rule.
Right?
And that's where that identity. And it's established with bourbon around the world, right? If somebody wants to get back at us, what do they put a tariff on first? Bourbon, right? I mean, it's the identity of America around the world, right? So we should on the 250th year, we should celebrate that.
Well, we should, and you all have. You've done such a beautiful job with all of these. First of all, this one's out now. Look for it. We love it. Beautiful flavors, creaminess. By the way, before we jump into these limited editions, what flavors, Ricky and Rick, both of you all, what do you get on that?
Take a shot at it.
On the Explorer. I'm still working my way around the flavors. What do you get on it?
Yeah, just in general, I think of it as kind of a sugary sweetness. I kind of say a meringue sweetness, and then a bit of fresh wood rather than the like deeply charred oak. It's kind of a fresh seasoned oak smell, along with some light dried fruit notes.
Oh yeah.
You know what what I was surprised about it and that I really love, I spent a few years really get into Burgundy wines, and Burgundy
Yes.
wines are gorgeous, beautiful, nuanced wines. And you've got that little bit of what maybe they call sous-bois in French, kind of that maybe what Ricky was talking about, that it's a little bit of a foresty kind of a flavor. It's a little bit terroir, right? Where you're trying to get the flavor of the place, but there's a little bit of earthiness to it that I like too, right? It's that, and that's what you look for in those great Burgundy wines. Those famous Burgundy wines have that little bit of earthiness, that richness to it. And so I get a little of that earthiness out of there too.
It is beautiful. It is elegant. It is a very beautiful bourbon, some great age on it. And I can't wait to see what else you're doing with the corn there. I love this. Now, when we posted this, of course, on bourbonblog.com, and we tell the story there, but these are 2 limited editions, of course, celebrating 250 years of the United States. You even have that 1776 right there. This is called Kentucke County. And then we think, no, wait a minute. This is not only a limited edition because it's limited edition, but is it also a typo? But it's not a typo. Tell us, we'll start with 6. Tell us what Kentucke County means and what the inspiration is here, because it's a great story.
I'll hit some of the background and let Ricky talk about the whiskey. But we, just like in 15 Stars and First West, right? Celebrating those early Kentucky and early American moments where bourbon is born. So Kentucke County, so we got digging around a little bit, and Kentucke County is the first naming of the place called Kentucky when it was a county of Virginia in 1776. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, Virginia is kind of the center again of the American, early America, and Kentucky is a part of Virginia then, first named in 1776 after the Kentucky River, which had been known for some time. And so it's kind of that in 1776, it just ties the roots of what we're doing together. And that little couple of things, we always have some interesting ties to it. And the stopper top is a 15-star token, a Kentucky token, minted in 1795 on the top of the stopper. Probably can't see it because we covered it up with as long as that wrapper's on there. But the age statement doesn't hurt either. Yeah. And then on the border of the label, that border background, that actually comes off the land warrants that were issued to the very first settlers. And we've got a few of those in our collection. We've got this collection online if people want to go look at it. We got 3 versions of that land warrant where in the 1780s, people were issued warrants. Yeah, you got one. Hey, amazing. Yeah, I didn't know you had that. Good job, man.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, that's a land warrant from Virginia. This is actually one to George Rogers Clark.
Wow.
And we were lucky enough a few weeks ago to acquire a land warrant that was actually issued, I believe it's 1782. I think it was like December of 1782 to Daniel Boone.
You acquired one in the collection.
We've got one that actually was issued to Daniel Boone with Boone's signature on it. And so really, really cool piece of history. 1782, Daniel Boone, back to 1776. So when did the Revolutionary War end? Well, kind of sort of officially 1781 with Cornwallis surrendering.
Right.
But the last real battle in the Revolutionary War was fought in Kentucky. The Battle of Blue Licks, where British aligned with Indians came into Kentucky trying to take the forts, right? And so the Battle of Blue Licks, unfortunately, it was not a good battle for the Kentuckians. Boone was there. And that happened 2 or 3 months before this land warrant that we've got with Boone's signature on it. So it just kind of anchors you back to the time when America was America, and that American spirit became separated from the European spirit in a very emphatic way. And, just, again, I think bourbon is a tie to some foundational roots, right? Some tradition in America that's really, really great and really strong. We want to anchor our products there.
you continue to do it. And again, the first
We do it on the bottle and we do it in the bottle. So in the bottle's most important. And maybe
the story is told around the bottle too.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
And that's the first use of Kentucky as a name.
Yeah. Spelled with an E, as you said.
And somehow they decided to take that E off, I guess.
That happened around the late 1780s. The first newspaper for 4 or 5 years was called the Kentucky Gazette with an E. The first written use of the word Kentucky we can find is on a map of the Middle British colonies in America from 1755, and it's got the Kentucky River laid out across Kentucky and with that E on it. So that was the spelling until the late 1780s, and they changed it to a Y.
And this all goes back to help us tell the story of, again, we love the fact you're telling the 250th anniversary story with a 6-year-old Kentucky bourbon. And again, we'll say this, you do with this, distill this at Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Yep.
Your bourbons, whiskeys have always been a blend of different Kentucky distilleries.
Totally.
And we unnamed, but obviously some of the very best ones. This is amazing. This 6-year-old. Tell us about this and what inspired this, the 6-year-old, and what I love it, by the way. What do we have here?
Yeah, so the 6-year-old, not as exciting as the Black Corn 5-grain on paper, but a blend of 2 6-year-old straight bourbon whiskeys. And will continue to be a minimum of 6 years, given that age statement, at 90 proof. And it makes a really nice, sweet forward, I think, kind of honey sweet on that whiskey, with some nice fruit flavors as well. I think banana, kind of what I get. But yeah, just a rounded, sweet, fruity profile that has a pretty surprisingly lasting finish.
It really did. For 6-year-old
bourbon. Yeah.
This is serious. I get the banana, almost like that banana Foster's sort of
caramelized,
a little bit of honey. I mean, you're really looking at a delicious 6-year-old blend. You say it's a blend of 2 different bourbons?
Yes.
That are 6. Wow.
Yep.
Great.
We were lucky enough. I call it luck, knock on wood. We've got a pretty long history of getting lucky. But it was just announced last week that that bourbon won a 96 score at the International Wine and Spirits Competition, IWSC. So a 96. They named it one of the 10 best bourbons of 2026. Forbes magazine just ran an article last week on that bourbon as being part of that, one of the 10 best bourbons of 2026. So it's really gotten some great recognition. It's early out into the market, right? We just released it, but right off the bat, a 96-point score from IWSC and a great acknowledgement by Forbes of that top 10 bourbon. So
incredible.
And a good start.
Is it limited edition, or is this one that you'll do? Will the Kentucky County be next year, or how?
We will keep Kentucky County out there. We will keep the 6 and the next one we're gonna talk about. So we will keep them out there. That banner at the bottom, 250th year celebration, will move to something else.
Okay.
So that special acknowledgement of the 250th year. Really, we were going to wait to bring Kentucky County out, but then we thought, I mean, wait a minute, the 250th, 1776, we gotta do it. So out
you'll have that out there permanently, along with First West underneath 15 stars.
Yeah, those 3 brands will be kind of our family celebrating that early Kentucky Americana bourbon theme.
Beautiful. And then we move to a 12-year-old. We have the red and the blue label both. So we're really putting those wonderful American colors out there. This is an American whiskey, which of course is a little different than bourbon, but what led you to do, and I love American whiskey, by the way, what led you to do the American whiskey label?
So
it's a good story.
Yeah. American whiskey can be incredibly different from bourbon, but in our case, it's quite similar. So this product is a blend of 2 12-year-old whiskeys, American whiskeys, but one of them being a bourbon. So a 12-year-old bourbon, and then the other half, an interesting thing, we acquired a group of barrels that were 7 years old that had been distilled in a bourbon mash bill but aged in used oak. Acquired those at 7 years old and immediately took them and put them back in a new oak barrel to get more age on them. So half of it spent first 7 years in used oak and the last 5 in new oak.
Okay.
And so it still spent enough time in new oak to be a bourbon over 4 years or over 2 years. But so it's plenty of bourbon, especially in flavor. You know, the 12-year-old bourbon on one side obviously has all the maturity you'd ever want, but that 12-year-old American whiskey getting put back in that new barrel really gave it a ton of flavor to kind of carry those stronger oak notes in this product, even above the bourbon that makes the other half, probably bringing in the more sweet notes that you would get, where they're, you know, not sweet in the same sense as the honey sweet or meringue sweet as the Explorer in 6 year, but those rich kind of molasses and dark fruit notes that you get in it.
So it's really it's a distillate that has gone into a used barrel for 7 years, and then it really went right into a new charred oak barrel. Do you know what charred that was, by the way? Out of curiosity?
Yeah, 4
charred oak 4 into that for another 5. So it's technically the last part of its life. It becomes a bourbon, but it's 12 years old, not legally a bourbon, but blended with another bourbon that is legally a bourbon. I don't know if I've ever seen this happening. This could be a first.
Yeah, look, it's been done. You know, we got that product. We thought, hey, this is a great product distilled by a great distiller in Kentucky, and we thought there's something we can do with this, right? And so it really was. Again, it's basically a bourbon, but it was put in a used barrel. So as soon as it goes first into that used barrel, we can't call it a bourbon. So again, American whiskey.
It is. But, it's deep. It has a lot of age on it.
It's a lot of gorgeous whiskey. Great. And really, with both of these, what we're loving about Kentucky County is that we're able to put these out at a really beautiful price.
Yes.
And so the 6-year-old, right? A 6-year-old, age stated. 2 Kentucky bourbons blended together, you know, a craft whiskey, $38 SRP. And then a 12-year-old American whiskey that has the flavors that you're picking up, right? It's got all those classic, rich, aged, smooth, beautiful, beautiful aged flavors. $58, $57.99 is our SRP on that. And so a 12-year-old for $57.99, that's the phrase we use. We kind of challenge people and say, hey, I mean, for $58, I mean, what's your next candidate for a best
12-year-old
for best at $58? I mean, it's there's some good stuff out there, but man, this is a buy. This is a value.
These both
are a beautiful whiskey.
Oh, the pepper notes, dark chocolate, even maybe just a touch of tobacco, some nice. Dark cherry. It has a lot going on. Now I know we don't tell what distilleries these come from. Was the same distillery that had the 12, the original? Or are these from the same distillery? These two, or are these two different distilleries?
No, they're two different. Distilleries. Yeah, and occasionally we do it with the same. But honestly, when you're blending two, you're looking for that complexity that you can bring with a blend, and in some ways uniquely with a blend.
Sure.
It even helps that. A lot of times when they're not out of the same still,
because you're getting different flavors.
It's some different, right? Every distillery has some notes to it, right? That will come through in what it does. So, you know, bring those together are good, right? Complexity and balance, right, are what you're trying to get out of you. You don't want one thing to overtake another, and you don't want it to be too one-sided, right? So it's that balance that brings a richness and a depth that otherwise is difficult to do. And that's really I said we've been lucky over the years, and we have. Our very first bourbon was one of 3 finalists for Best Bourbon of the Year at San Francisco World Spirits Competition. We were floored when that happened, but that changed our trajectory. And we said, hey, maybe we can make bourbons that, you know, that that come out, and whiskey that comes out at that very highest level. And we've won 33 of those, either best in category, best bourbon, best rye, best American whiskey. We've won 33 of those, either best of or finalists, 1 or 2, 3, or 4 finalists for that category. And so while we don't mind a gold or a double gold or a platinum, that's not really what we're after. And what we're after are those best of category designations. And that's, a 96 on that 6-year-old is pretty darn good, 1 of 10 best, but
Yeah.
we really are after those best in categories. So we're excited to see what this one will do.
Oh, I think it will. And you've won so many hearts too, just talking to people that I know that love bourbon, and our fans on bourbonblog.com, and the tastings that I've hosted where we have featured your 15 stars, your First West. People have been, this has been some of their very favorites of all the bourbons I've featured. Putting the website up there once more. Do we know are you able to tell mash bills on either of these?
Well, when you blend them together, what would you guess them at there, Ricky?
6-year-old, pretty standard rye bourbon mash bills.
Okay.
Nothing out of the ordinary there. Around, I don't know, 70, 20, 10.
Okay.
Very close to that. That one will skew a little higher, a much higher corn.
It's so good.
Yeah, one of the mash bills in there is almost entirely corn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I do get some nice sweetness, but I get some great earth, some beautiful spice, the elegance of these, along with the Explorer, are so beautiful. And as I was putting your website up there, I want to make sure people also know we've so enjoyed seeing Rick and Ricky at so many festivals, events, and just getting to know you all as personally as it's been so wonderful. But let me tell you this, something I'm excited about is you're going to have a cigar blend with First West dropping around the Kentucky Bourbon Festival near it. Tell us about it.
We're excited about that opportunity. We haven't put anything together we call this cigar blend. We've had some beautiful releases that other people have said, hey, that's a cigar blend.
Yeah,
right? Taste it. And we're often happy about that. And those have been in the 15 stars line.
Yes.
But we're gonna have a limited release. It'll be allocated. We will release it around KBF. We will have some bottles there for tasting. And so we're excited to do that. We're going to bottle it in August, KBF obviously in September. And so we're looking forward to being at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival with Ricky. You want to talk about what we put in that bottle?
Yeah. So it'll be a pretty incredible release for First West. It's it's a blend of 11-year minimum.
Wow.
And the finishes will be tawny port, sherry, and cognac. And it might go up. We're still working on the blend, but might go up to 15 years old in age. And so it'll be a really great product under First West, especially we're looking at a $79.99 price point for that. For all that you're getting, 11 to 15-year-old cigar blend. But because of how great of a product it is, it won't be super available. It will be a limited release from us. So a pretty hard thing to get your hands on, but it'll be delicious.
Yeah, we're over delivering on it, and it'll be out there, right? It'll be, so if anybody wants one, talk to your retailer, right? Make sure they know to save you a bottle, because we'll be able to spread it out there. But the idea is it comes and it'll be gone. And we've dialed it in, but we always redial, right? That's part of our blending process. We get it to where we know we got something good. This will be bottled in August. And so we're in that process right now. We just brought all the samples back in. We resampled the barrels. And so we'll fine tune it, right? To say, okay, those barrels from when we first blended it 4 or 5 months ago, it's been in those barrels. Bourbon moves in the barrel, right? It's flavors change, right? And so we go back at it. And so we're in that process right now of just kind of re-nailing it down and getting it very close to our bottling to where we've kind of fine-tuned it a little bit. So It's the kind of a cigar blend that, you know, is oftentimes sold at twice the price.
Oh yeah, that's
Our goal here is to say thank you a little bit too with this. Honestly, we've got
sure.
we've got a distributor community and a retailer community and a consumer fan community that have been really, really good to us over the last few years. And so this is one of those things that we want to put out as a special release that just says thank you. So this one, I can tell you with what we've got in that bottle, this is a really super low margin product for us.
Oh yeah, this is.
But that's okay, right?
Unheard of. With
This is a thank you.
Yeah. This is 11 and a half upwards, maybe up to around 14, 15.
Yep.
Cognac, port, and sherry, all three of those. And they are bourbons that you found that you all are finishing yourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. Been in the barrels as long as 3 years, been in those finishes. So this isn't something we, you know, some of these finishes are a little quicker, right? They're a couple of months. This is, you know, right around that 3 year mark.
Some of them have been up to 3 years.
Yeah.
For a while. This is
something
that, again, for that price point, that's amazing. We'll keep people posted on bourbonblog.com. Obviously, I'm a big cigar fan, and I was telling you all we're doing our series on cigarworld.com and also wine, watches, and whiskey with Cohiba. We love all types of cigars, and I've actually paired some cigars with several of your bourbons in the past when I've been at events. I really, you know, not only the artisan, but also that Three Ports a couple of years ago. That was divine with a cigar. I had it with a cigar, and it was so good.
Yeah. And our triple cask, we put a couple of triple cask versions out there, and those are also, it's kind of classic like this, right? Those you get those beautiful, sweet, kind of those European port, sherry, cognac, right? Those European barrels that are just bring a lot of richness to that bourbon. And again, to find a couple of bourbons that work really, really well with this, we've got a couple that we love that kind of produce those flavors that just we think it's going to be a great thing. We're excited.
We can't wait.
I'm not a big cigar smoker, but I will be smoking one.
We'll all do it. A good plan. We'll make it happen. Gentlemen, it's always such a pleasure. You all have done such a great job with all of these. And again, we'll show the Explorer, the First West, and also the two Kentucky counties. And of course, all of your, I have one near me, the extra age. I love the extra age as well, but all of your collection from 15 Stars, First West, just so well done, so elegant, and the price point's amazing. You all are incredible. Thank you all so much for being here with us on Bourbon Blog, and I hope to see you both really soon.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick and Ricky.
Fun to do it with you.
Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Cheers.